Good day, judges. We are Team Novum. I am Ong Kai-sen, and my teammate is Tan Feng. This is ASEM Talint, short for Talent Intelligence. It is a decision intelligence workflow for semiconductor pathway review. The point is simple. A reviewer should be able to read one candidate clearly, understand the market context around that candidate, and decide the next step with an auditable Z.AI GRM-based explanation.
Why does it matter now? Because capability building cannot be treated as a generic placement exercise. Malaysia is pushing harder on local sourcing, vendor development, SME participation, and stronger industry links. So, the decision is not only whether a candidate looks promising, it is whether the pathway is economically sensible, geographically realistic, and aligned with a real operating environment. That is why the product is built as decision intelligent, not as a generic chat layer.
This is the working case. We start from one shared candidate payload, not from a vague prompt. The candidate, target track, required skills, thresholds, and market signals are already structured. In the current local demo environment, this combined review button is wired to an Ilmu-backed Z.AI GRM route. For the reviewer, the important point is that the model is asked to return a structured pathway judgment, not an unbounded paragraph.
Now, we have the decision result. The recommendation is clear. The confidence is explicit. The provider used in this run is visible. Missing inputs are also explicit. That matters because the system is not trying to sound certain when a case is thin. Under the surface, deterministic scoring has already been computed in code. Tool change alignment, readiness, accessibility, demand alignment, and wage direction. The model then turns that bounded context into a readable explanation, factors, trade-offs, next steps, and a structured JSON contract. The decision is immediately grounded in market evidence. We can see the wages baseline, the employer demands view, the GIS accessibility panel, which is Geographical Information System, the OJT match on job training, and the wage outlook without leaving the case. The GIS figure is especially important. It uses numbered hotspot markers and a ranked list underneath. So, the spatial evidence stays readable during a live demo. What this gives the reviewer is not just a label, such as strong fit. It gives a practical sense of access, role demand, shortlist quality, and directional economic upside. Let us move from the broad case view into the evidence view.
Candidate lab is where the case is tightened before a reviewer advances it. Instead of leaving resume evidence scattered across text, the page organizes it as proof. Role signals are here. Certifications are here. Project evidence and toolchain evidence are here. On the right, the repair queue translates weak evidence into a short coachable next action. In this sample case, there is no urgent gap. But the product still recommends converting the strongest project into employer-ready talking points. So the reviewer is supported before the decision, not only after it.
Now we will talk about Market Studio. It answers different questions. Does the target track fit? Also, what nearby roles become plausible once resume evidence is counted properly? The shortlist keeps demand evidence and salary context together. The top row remains robotic and test automation trainee in Penang. But we also see adjacency roles in Selangor, Kedah, and Johor. This is useful because a reviewer can separate the primary path from the secondary path while keeping the evidence trail visible. It is a short list that can be defended.
Halfway planner turns a shortlist into a plan. The selected role is explicit. The which direction is explicit. The evidence strength is explicit. Then the system produces a 30-60-90 sequence that a counselor or candidate can actually follow. That point is important. A recommendation without a next step plan is only a label. Here, the product ties the label to actions, timing, and a salary reference that is clearly presented as directional rather than guaranteed.
ERP bridge is the operational handoff. This page packages the same case into a stable sync bundle. So, an ERP does not need to scrape the screen or rely on manual copying. Here, we can see the package overview, the upset keys, the sync actions, and the raw machine-readable contract. In other words, the workflow does not stop at explanation. It reaches the point where the decisions can move downstream into a real institutional process.
To close, ASEM Talint turns a manual review of scattered evidence into a disciplined semiconductor pathway workflow. The case is tightened. Market context is mid-readable. The Z.AI GLM-based reasoning output is structured and auditable. And the final handoff is ready for downstream use.
Our preliminary submission is designed to be judged as a coherent build. The product logic, the architecture, the tests, and the demonstration all point to the same claim, which is this is a feasible decision intelligence prototype for domain 2. Thank you.